Hello. In this lesson, lesson 3, you're going to learn how to make questions in English. You're also going to learn how to answer them. You'll be surprised how easy it is to make questions. And the answers are even more easy. Sencillo is like simple. So the answers are even more simple. These are the contents of the lesson, the vocabulary, and then how to make the questions in English, the word who, quién, who, and how to say no in English. So let's look at the vocabulary. This is something you have to learn. The first word we have is do or does. Hacer, hacer, or hace for does. Okay? Do is the infinitive. Does is the third person singular. So I do, you do, but he, she, and it does. Okay? So, as in all other verbs, we're adding an S to the infinitive. But because of the spelling rules, we have to add ES. He does. He does. Then you have these, what we call question words. Question words. What, how, when, where, why, who, which. Okay? These are all used for making questions. We have not, no. We have some prepositions and some nouns. And then we have some verbs. Miss, a noun, guest, suit, dress, to dress. We have lots of nouns here. Okay. We have the seasons, the spring, summer, fall, winter. We can say autumn, autumn, otoño, autumn también in English. Today. Then we have lots of verbs that you need to learn. Okay, to serve, to prepare, to eat, to feed, to drink. Very important. Here we have like, love, to arrive, to understand, call, to read, to name, to return. We have a noun here, an opinion. An opinion, okay? That's a sustantivo. Okay, how to make questions in English. Well, in Spanish, we use two signs of interrogation, okay? So two, what we call signos de interrogación, we call question marks. Question marks to make questions. In Spanish, you have one question mark at the beginning of the sentence and one at the end. Do you work? Do you work? Well, in English, we only use one question mark at the end, okay? And we use the words do or does instead of the first question mark. So here we have the examples. In Spanish, say, yo trabajo en una fábrica. And in English, we say, do I work in a factory? Do I work in a factory? Or tú trabajas en el verano. We say, do you work in the summer? With one question mark at the end. And we use the auxiliary verb do. So in third person singular, él trabaja en el invierno. We say does. Does he work in the winter? Does she work in a club? El perro entiende. Does the dog understand? Do we understand? Do you call? Do they read? Okay, so you have to note here, does, it's only used with he, she, or it. That's to say, the S that accompanies the verb in the third person singular in the sentences, in the affirmative sentences, changes to do. Okay? Look. Él trabaja en un club. Okay? Now, in the affirmative, we say, she works. She works in a club. Okay? He works in the winter. And the S is on the verb, the end of the verb, in the third person singular. He works in the summer. She works in a club. The dog understands. Okay? But when we make a question and we use the auxiliary verb to do, the S, we take the S from here and we put it on the auxiliary verb. Okay? So we just have the infinitive. Does he work? Not does he works? No. Does he work in the winter? Does she work in a club? Not does she works in a club, but does she work in a club? Okay, let's look at an exercise, and we're going to learn how to use this properly. So we're going to transform the following sentences to questions. As you can see in the three examples, you receive a letter. You receive a letter. Usted recibe una carta. And to make a question, we say, do you? Do you receive a letter? They repair the train. Ellos reparen el tren. We say, do they repair the train? And she serves the food. So we make a question. We take the S. We put it on the auxiliary verb do. Does she serve the food? Ella serve el alimento. Does she serve the food? So let's see. I leave the club. It's very easy. Do I leave the club? With a question mark. She serves the food. Does she serve the food? He wears a suit. Does he wear a suit? He reads. Does he read? We learn. Do we learn? My father works. Does my father work? We separate. Do we separate? Don't forget the question mark at the end. Okay, it's a long exercise. And by the end of it, you should feel the difference between do and does. He sings in the spring. He sings in the spring. Él canta en la primavera. Let's make a question. Does he sing in the spring? They believe. Do they believe? It's muy sencillo. It's very easy. Okay? She eats. Does she eat? Does she eat? Okay. These are words used to make questions. These are different words. What how, when, where, why. Okay? These words we simply use before do or does. Okay, so we have, for example, what do you love? How does he work? When does he sing? When does he sing? Where do you find? ¿Dónde encuentras? Where do you find the shop? Why do you work? ¿Por qué trabajas? Why do you work? Yo no sé. Why do you work? Okay, let's look at those a little bit more closely. Question words. What? What? The function of the word what? Asking for information about something. For example, what is your name? What is your name? Or asking for repetition or confirmation. It's como, ¿qué? ¿Qué? What? What? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Here we have what and for, asking for a reason, asking why. What did you do that for? What did you do that for? Okay? We have when, asking about time. When? When did he leave? When is he coming back? When did he leave? Okay, or we have where. ¿Dónde? Okay? ¿Dónde? So, ¿cuándo? ¿Dónde? Asking in or at what place or position. So, where do they live? ¿Dónde viven? Where do they live? And here we have which, okay, which is cuál. Asking about choice, como elegir. Which color do you want? Which color? Okay. Who, we're going to look at who a little later, okay, in this exercise. Who and whom and whose. And why, por qué, asking for reason. Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Why is the sky blue? Why is the sky blue? Here we have how. ¿Cómo? So, how does this work? Or asking about condition or quality. How was your exam? How was your exam? And also we have these very important words. How far? How long? How many? How much? Okay? So how far we use for distance. How far is Pattaya from Bangkok? How far is Madrid from Valencia? How long? Length, time or space. ¿Cuántas horas? How long will it take? How long? ¿Cuántos tiempo? How long will it take to travel from Valencia to Madrid? Okay. Or how many? How many? Okay. We say, how many cars are there? How many cars are there? How many people in this room? How many minutes in 1 hour? Okay, how much? Quantity. Okay, how much? How much money do you have? ¿Cuántos dinero tiene? How much money do you have? Or we say, how old? Okay, how old are you? ¿Cuántos años tiene? How old are you? Okay, let's go back to the lesson. Exercise 3.3. Okay, we're going to translate the following sentences to English. Okay, you're going to follow the examples. It's a very good exercise. ¿Qué ama él? What does he love? Okay, ¿por qué duermes tú? Why do you sleep? When do I leave? Okay, so let's look at these. ¿Qué lee él? What does he read? What does he read? Or ¿cómo juega él? How does he play? How does he play? What do we study? What do we study? ¿Qué estudiamos nosotros? What do we study? Oh, when does Mr. Perez read? When? When does Mr. Perez read? Okay? So these are making questions. We need to use the auxiliary verb do. Okay? The question verb comes before the auxiliary verb. So how do we repair? When do I leave? Okay? So you do this exercise. Very important. Where do my parents drive? Where do my parents drive? Okay? How does he understand? Lots of exercises here for you to work on. And then we arrive. The word who. The word who. It means quién. Okay? To use it, we add s or es to the verb. Now, usually we don't use the auxiliary verb to do. And in this case, we're not using the auxiliary verb to do. Okay? No auxiliary verb. So we go back to the normal use of the infinitive. On the third person, look, who studies, who plays. Okay? So when we're using this, we're always using the third person. Always. Siempre. Usamos the S in the verb. Okay? With who. Who asks my opinion? Who asks my opinion? ¿Quién pregunta mi opinión? Who asks my opinion? Who drives the automobile? Automobile, coche, car. Okay? ¿Quién conduce el coche? Who drives the car? Okay? Who moves the food? Who moves the food? ¿Quién mueve el alimento? Who moves the food? Who opens the factory? You see all the after who, always using the verb in the third person singular. Who leaves? Who moves? Who opens? Who calls? Who receives? Who repairs? Okay, you translate all those. Who arrives today? ¿Quién llega hoy? Who arrives today? Okay. Then you have to translate these sentences into English. Okay? So, ¿quién alimenta? Who eats? Who eats? Con S. Who loves? Who drinks? Who sings? Who eats the food? Or who eats food? Who eats food? Who believes? Who misses? Who likes? Who arrives? Who needs? Okay, it's very easy. Very, very easy. Who sees? ¿Quién viste? Okay, how to say no in English. How to say no in English. Okay, how to say no in English, we simply use the word not together with the auxiliary verb do and does. So here's an example. If we start a sentence with as you receive a ring, okay? You receive a ring. So we change it to making a question like this. Do you receive a ring? And to say no, you add not. Not. Entre du et el verbo. Okay? The auxiliary verb and the main verb. Auxiliary verb, main verb. Entre not. You do not receive a ring. Okay, you do not receive a ring. Let's look at this structure in a bit more detail. Okay? This is the simple structure, simple present structure. I like coffee. You like coffee. Pero he, she, it. She likes coffee. She likes coffee. Okay, when we make a question, do I like coffee? Or does he like coffee? Okay, and when we make a negative, when we say no, it's very, very similar. So like he, it's exactly the same as the simple present, but with not between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. So, do you like coffee? No. We say no. I do not like coffee. Or no. She does not like coffee. Okay? So we're using the auxiliary verb. The S is still on the auxiliary verb. The main verb is infinitive. Sin S. Okay? He does not like coffee. I do not like coffee. We do not like coffee. Okay. Now it's different with the verb to be, but we'll look at that later. It's a little bit different. Okay, so let's look at these. The exercise, you have to listen to these. Listen to these repetitively, okay, to understand the structure. So they repair the car. Do they repair the car? They do not repair the car. They do not repair the car. She sleeps. She sleeps today. Does she sleep today? No, she does not sleep today. So you have to listen to all of these, okay? We learn a song. Do we learn a song? No, we do not learn a song. We do not learn a song. Okay, so very important. Listen to all these. And then you can go to the next exercise. Okay? So here, we're going to give you an affirmative sentence, and it has been transformed into a question. Okay? And you have to write the negative form, like here. He does not sing a song. He sings a song. Does he sing a song? And the negative. He does not sing a song. He does not sing a song. Okay, so I need a suit. Do I need a suit? I do not need a suit. They believe. Do they believe? They do not believe. They do not believe. She eats the food. Does she eat the food? She does not. She does not eat the food. Okay, you understand the structure? Do those exercises. And by the end of this, you will understand how to make questions and how to make negatives. Okay? Let's look at the last one. They ride a train. Do they ride a train? No. They do not ride a train. They do not ride a train. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you on lesson 4. Bye-bye.